All right. Share my screen. Okay. Let me make this bigger so it's easier to see. Okay. So his client is whole tones to sleep. I'm just going to read over it first. Okay, this is something to help you sleep. Ancient hack. This makes me wonder what the audience is. Because ancient hack is usually something I see in the spirituality, not ancient hack, but ancient this, ancient that. See that a lot in the spirituality niche. Converts really well there. Haven't seen that really in other niches. So that kind of caught my attention. I'm just reading over this right now. Yes, I'm sure you guys are too. Okay. All right, that's a lot of PSs. I don't think I've ever seen that many PSs in an email before. My mind's a little blown right now. Okay, so and this one's a different client. So I'm not gonna look at that one until after this one. Okay, so I'm kind of curious why that's not capitalized, but maybe in the brand. I'm gonna see if I can find this brand online. Because I am curious about that. Yeah, it is capitalized. I thought it should be. Okay, so I am he sent me this doc. I think it's okay for me to edit this doc, but just in case, I'm going to make a copy. Um, because I don't want to undo what he did in case he wants that original the way it was. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and change this because like yeah, the brand should be capitalized and it looked weird not capitalized. Um, I mean, obviously that's not gonna be published, but it's I'm a quad Virgo. Things like that annoy me. So okay. Once your insomnia gone, read this. I think having everything in all caps, I don't know if that possibly could be a spam trigger. I'm not used to seeing subject lines all in all caps. Um, but that could work. Uh, I do like the ancient hack angle. I think that's, you know, because it is like frequency sleep music, it does make sense to me now that, he's using ancient, which is something you kind of see more in a holistic niche. So um that that works. The biggest things I'm seeing is he doesn't have enough bolding and italics in here. Like the copy's actually pretty good copy. It's very emotional, which is great. He's hitting pain points, which is great. Um, so I'm actually pretty impressed with the copy itself. Uh, but yeah, I think the main thing it's needing is more bolding and italics in here. So I'm just gonna, I'm almost wanting to put something before this. Like my brain's wanting to put something before this. Um, Let me get down here to I'll come back to that. but my brain's kind of wanting to put something that's kind of giving them a heads up, like, I had to reach out to you right away and tell you about something that happened to me, something like that. That's kind of what my brain's wanting to do before heading into this. But diving straight into the story could work too. I love that he's using story in here. I think that's story is really, really powerful. Um, so I'm gonna just kind of do some editing going through here of like what I would change for adding more bolding italics and that kind of thing, things to emphasize. When I'm doing bolding italics, I'm focusing on a few things. One, just kind of the words that someone would emphasize if they were speaking, so it becomes more conversational. So when they're reading it out loud in their mind, it feels like something somebody would say to them with the words emphasized. Another thing I will do is I will emphasize words that are kind of like emotional triggers or NLP type triggers. If you're not familiar with NLP triggers, it's a big part of that is looking at how your market um, learns things and perceives things and moves in the world. So are they more visual? Are they more auditory? They more kinesthetic? And hitting them there. If you have an audience where it's not really very clearly defined, you could kind of hit all of those in your copy. So that's another thing I'm going to be looking for in here. Just anything that's going to evoke strong emotions, you want to emphasize. Um, so I would here, I probably would do bold for darkness there, and then I would definitely emphasize burned. My body ached. These are the emotional pain point things. And then here I would do the whole thing, tears stream down my face, that whole thing. I love another thing. I'm going to point out something great things he's doing here. This is the power of three, right? When you have, there's something psychological about having three things in a row like this, and it creates this rhythm, and that rhythm does something on a psychological level in the human brain. I don't know if anybody's figured out why that works, but it does. It's like that rhythm and that repetition is really, really powerful. So I'm actually pretty impressed with his copy. He's using a lot of really great mechanisms that I'm seeing here. Um, And I would, instead of am I trapped, I would say, why am I trapped in it? Because that's how it feels. It doesn't, when you're in that state, because I've had really bad insomnia my whole life. Um, and I finally found some frequency music, interestingly enough, on YouTube. It's like 8 hour black screen audio, solfeggio frequency, body healing things. And I've been playing that at night and I've been sleeping really well. So this is the one thing that's working for me. So I'm like, I am actually the perfect target market for this thing. So it does feel like you're in an energy curse. So I'm not going to say, am I? I'm going to say, why am I? Um, and I'm going to change and to this. Okay. Flyer. I think flyer is Flyer, isn't it? Let me double check. I'm pretty sure Grammarly's not getting tagged with that, but and I don't think that really in the US we would use that term. I was a high flyer and worked one of the biggest firms in Silicon Valley. um Trying to think of a better term for that. All right, so this is what I do when I get stuck. I'll go to thesaurus. You know, I will go there. And I will put this in and see what, if anything, um, none of those are really what yeah, that's just other things. Maybe fire. It's not giving me thesaurus, it's just giving me dictionary. Um, I would say hustler, no, I'm not really coming up with a great word for that right now. Um, gosh, driven's not really the right word. I want somebody that's like, I'm just gonna say workaholic. Um, driven workaholic. Used to come home after being drowned and worked in my office. It's easier for me to do this with copy that's not so good. This is actually pretty good copy. I wouldn't say that. And I would just turn this into a sentence. It's so sleepy. Didn't he already say that up here? My eyes burned, my body ached. He already said that. Um, so I wouldn't say that again here. Uh, um, I'm gonna get rid of this because he's already said that. I felt utterly exhausted, so frustrated, no matter what I tried. Okay. And I would change utterly to completely. That's more conversational. Wandering like a ghost. Um, that's an interesting phrase. Um, I don't think I would say a ghost. Like a squirrel riding 20 roller coasters at the same time. Okay. Yeah, simultaneously. This is one really big thing. Don't always go with Grammarly. Like simultaneously, that's not conversational. You know, if I was talking to somebody, I wouldn't say, you know, simultaneously. I would say at the same time, right? So in copy, you want to, unless you're dealing with a very, very formal audience, like you're writing for some high-end fundraising event for a nonprofit, or at a university or something like that, you're going to want to go with what's conversational. Um, okay, so my brain kept wandering like a squirrel, like an insane squirrel. Let's go that. Insane squirrel writing 20 different roller coasters all at the same time. Okay. Do a little bit more bolding italics in that sentence than I normally do. I wouldn't do imagine here. It doesn't make sense to me to have imagine there. I'll just put at one point. To no avail also sounds a little formal. I'm trying to think of a less formal way to say that. Um, okay. Yeah, Grammarly likes to get rid of things like that. Like, no, Grammarly, you're wrong. You're not a copywriter. Okay, after months trying and failing. I think I want to bold that too. I want to bold that whole thing because that just adds to the ancient. So I really want that in there too, to my utter surprise. I don't think I would say um, completely shocked to discover. Okay, discover is a tricky word. If you are warming up a new list, you don't want to use discover. It can be a spam trigger. I know that's crazy. It is one of the most, it is absolutely the most powerful word in copywriting. It's been tested. That's why Discover Card picked that for their thing. You want to use it on sales pages for sure. You want to use it everywhere but email. But and I know this is email. Um, that company, I would say, probably is big enough. I would imagine they're probably not a startup. So they probably have their list warmed up enough they can get away with it. That's why I'm putting it in there. I'm going to bold shot. It's a powerful word. Okay. Like an eternity. Wait, that's not what I wanted to do. There. Okay. Just further emphasize these two words. I think that's a little too much bolding in that specific sentence. So let me get rid of that. Maybe I'll italicize it though. Okay. And an email, I don't put two sentences together, like unless they're like little one word period. You're emphasizing something, you're putting a word and then a period and then another word and then a period, another word. Other than that, I put them on different lines. I'll even break up sentences in two lines if I feel like they're too long. Like there aren't any in here. I'll get back to that in a minute. Like this is coming down a little bit to the next line, but it's not way over here. If it was like even over here, I would break it up into two lines. Same thing with this. If it had been a little farther over, I would have broken that up into two lines. But nothing. And also too, another thing is you need to look at the email as a whole, right? So how many like you this has a very short line about several very short lines above it, right? And several very short lines below it. So it's not a big deal. You wouldn't want to have several lines this length in a row, right? So it's all about white space. It's all about giving the brain room to breathe so that it doesn't get overwhelmed and it doesn't bounce and the person wants to keep reading. So that's the reason this stuff is important. That's all part of the copy UI UX stuff I teach. Okay, back down here. Okay. I don't even think I need to emphasize that there's something here with bolding or italics because it's such a short sentence. So sometimes yes, sometimes no. Okay. It's an ancient combination. Sound frequencies. I don't typically do this, like bolding a whole thing like that, but I think it can work here. So I'm gonna leave it. Seen and turning, no more staring at the ceiling. Exhaustion. See another thing you're seeing here, power of three again. Sleep. Did I fix that up here? No. See if he mentioned it anywhere else. No, that was the first mention. Okay. Okay, we wouldn't say conversationally quote you, the moving testimonies. That's okay, so I'm going to rewrite that. And I do want to move this down here because it's kind of a different thought. So I like to break up copy as much as possible in emails, even on sales pages in the spirituality niche. I do that a lot. That's not going to work for all niches, but if you're dealing more with story is very powerful at getting the brain in a hypnotic state. And having shorter lines gets people to keep scrolling. When people keep scrolling, that puts their brain in a hypnotic state too. And both of those things make them far more receptive to what the words they're reading and makes them more likely to buy. So this is like deep psychological trigger stuff we're working with here. That's what copywriting is. You are working with deep psychological triggers. Okay. So share. Also transformed. Nope, we're not going to say that. Okay. Out power The chooser sounds kind of weird to me. I'm trying to think. Listens. Listeners. There we go. I think experience this for yourself instead of being the judge. Um, why? This is a very right brain offer, right? We're dealing with something very soft. We're dealing with frequencies to help somebody sleep. So judge is like more left brain, harsh energy. Experience it for yourself is more right brain. It's more experiential. It's not like um it's more receptive, right? So that's the reason I did that. Okay. I would not mention tiny investment in the email. That's going to hurt the click-through rate. Wait and get them to the sales page for that. So I would have the CDA not be that. Um, if you're ready to, I'm not even going to get into any of that. Have the best sleep of your life. Instead of learn more, research has shown that learn is not the best word to use. If you can't avoid using it, that's okay. But if you can find another word to use, why? People know learning takes work, right? So you don't want them to have this barrier in their mind. Oh, this is something I'm going to have to work for. You want them to feel like this is going to be easy for me, right? This is going to be super easy. And I am going to bold this whole thing. And I'm going to get rid of then. It's not really needed here. I'm a big fan of brevity and cutting out words that are not necessary. So, and then that's the link. These PSs, I would say this is having all these PSs, having um them all in bold, it's a bit much, right? So the signature needs to go there. That's another thing. Usually when I'm doing stuff for clients, stuff that um they've got to do something with, like putting the signature, up here, name. I always highlight that stuff in yellow just so it stands out. So whoever on their team they're handing this off to doesn't miss anything that needs to be something done in the system. So, very good chance that this is not going to be the placeholder for name in their email system. It'll be something different than this. So you want to make sure that the person doesn't miss that who is uploading the email on their team. That's the reason I do that. I also wouldn't wait till down here to put the link. I would put a link up higher. So, let's see, because some people don't want to read the whole thing. So when's the first time he mentions here? So I would take that, also make that a link. Um, I usually do my links like that. If I don't have the link, I'll do that format for the client so they know to put a link there. I don't usually do italics when I do that. I just do that and they put the link in. I mean, I don't usually do the yellow, sorry, the yellow highlight. Okay, so down here, what can we do here? Because this is just hitting me as way too much bolding, way too many PSs. Um, let's just remove a little bolding here to make it a little less. I think here, let's make that. It's up. Last time I checked, 1,000 units left. Insanely low price. I wouldn't say hurry up. Um, and then this, I would make a link. Okay. Um, Another thing, another angle for a close here. I'm just going to do this. This is another really strong type of angle for a close. Um, turn it. Mm, okay. No, let's don't do a sane. I don't really know it. If I was doing in the spirituality niche or manifestation, I would use that word. Let's go with greedy. The greedy people in the pharmaceutical industry are not happy about this. They are losing a lot, a ton of money selling sleeping pills. Of time to sleep. Want some down. Okay, so this is a really, I've used similar closes a lot and they work. They work really well. So this is probably the one I would go with. It would be good to split test, but this stuff could go up into the body copy and then use this as a PS. Um, I'm kind of thinking, so I'm going to give this recording um, to him so he can make that decision. But like that's another approach. Some of this could go up into the body copy and then have this as a PS. It's kind of confusing the way I'm saying that. Losing a ton of money selling sleeping pills, a ton of selling as many. I think that's clearer. Okay. So I think that's good for that one. Wow, that took me a lot longer than I thought. Okay, so for this one, I think just because we don't have a ton of time left, I'm just going to kind of go through it and not do a live edit because I did not realize that would take that long. And then I'll just kind of talk a little bit about Copy Coaching Club after that. So, okay, weight loss capsule. Shane Measley. And later today, I will do an edit on this and I'll share this doc that I did with the group so you can kind of see what I did. Actually, let me do that just because of time. I'll edit this one later and I will record it just so you guys aren't on here and I'll post that recording of that later today of this one. But let me go ahead and share what the offers I'm doing with Copy Coaching Club with you guys. So I don't think, okay, he said it's done. I need the URL. Okay, so he's got it done. I don't have the URL. Let me just go to the one he was working on and go high level. And I'll share that with you guys. And I will send you, wow, this is way too big. Yeah, I'm gonna have to edit this page. That's bad. Okay, so okay, this is what I'm going to be doing as standalone membership for Copy Coaching Club, not bundled with Devika's offer. She and I are going to be doing a webinar next week. And I want anybody to know I'm going to do a special thing for people who get this week, like no later than tomorrow, right? So you will get a 1 hour live edit of your copy if you do this today, if you join Copy Coaching Club today. And if you decide you want to get her bundle offer, that's fine. Anything you pay today will get credited toward her bundle offer next week. So that's not a problem. Okay, so what I'm gonna be doing is 4 calls a month, 1 call a month on a new copywriting topic, 1 monthly Q&A call where you guys can ask any copywriting questions you want and I'll answer them. Each of these is gonna be an hour. And then 2 live edit calls where I do kind of basically what I just did, live edits for an hour. Okay, the community part of it. You're going to get to be in a community of like-minded individuals and copywriters, have the same goal as you to become a successful copywriter or a coach writing their own copy. And it wouldn't have to just be a coach. It could be anybody writing their own copy, really. Okay. And then I've got an online community on Circle, Dragonfly Oasis, and I'll just give you guys a peek of what that looks like. You're not going to be in everything here. All this stuff in the navigation, you won't see all that. I've got people that are like full members that are seeing all this stuff. But where you'll be is in Copy Coaching Club. So, and here down at the bottom, I'll talk about these different resources up here. There's, topic calls we've done before, copy critique we did before in there, these different presentations, copy shared on calls. And like this is when we did Trey Henderson's critique. These are his VSL page copy. I don't know whether there's 2 links. I'll have to check that. A funnel I shared on a copy training call I did. And then this is like my favorite VSL I've done. And then my overall portfolio. So let me go over all that here. Where's the page? Okay. So I don't know why that's saying product report card. That's really, really weird. Okay. Okay, so all that's inside Circle. So you'll get access to that. And then we're also going to have a curated job board. Rama is going to be doing that every week. And what she is going to be doing is breaking copy down into 3 categories. So it's not going to be a Facebook job board group. It's going to be a web page, right? And so instead of having to go through all these different groups looking for copywriting jobs and seeing all these posts by other copywriters looking for jobs, you're going to weed all that out. You'll have all the scammers weeded out, lowballers, people that are just asking for insane things weeded out. And the jobs will be in 3 categories: beginning, intermediate, and advanced. And then each category is going to have a subcategories of, is it a one-off gig? Is it a retainer gig? Or is it a job? And that'll either mention if it's full-time or part-time. That saves a lot of time. Like I definitely am interested in these and this. I am not interested in a full-time copy job. Like, no way could I do my entrepreneurial things. Like half-time is the max I could do. 20 hours a week max would be it for me. Some people would want a full-time job. That's great. So you get to look for what it is you're wanting. And she's going to not only be pulling things from different job board groups and putting links to those, but she will also be subscribed to several email lists that are posting copywriting jobs that send them out like weekly or daily basis, and be adding those as well. So this one thing really I feel like is worth $197 a month, which is what I'm going to charge for Copy Coaching Club, because it can help you get more gigs. Okay. You'll also get access to all that training I showed you inside Copy Coaching Club, which is worth at least $1,000 as long as you remain a member. So the Copy UX training, it's 3 training videos, and I will be creating additional ones going a little deeper on Copy UI UX. I find it really funny that this sentence doesn't have any Copy UI UX applied to it. No bolding or italics. I got to fix that on this page. I did on the Google Doc, but Perry didn't put it on here, so I got to fix that. Okay. All these are the different topics, features versus benefits. Robin Burke and I did that. Robin and I did one on headlines. And then there's a live copy critique with Trey Henderson. And then that wasn't an edit, it was a critique. So critiques are a little different. They are a little faster. If I'm doing a live edit, that takes more time. Um, Presentation on headlines. Wasn't that already? Yeah, I gotta, that's duplicated. Okay. Um, well, we did a call and then he also has a presentation. Yes, there's both. But I should group those together. Okay. Robin also did a 10-minute VSL structure. And then I did tips for beginning copywriters. Um, and then the copy docs, like I showed you, are in there, so you can study those as well. And then my portfolio. Yeah, this page definitely needs some editing. Um, and then it's also got my favorite high converting VSL copy, which is not my portfolio, that you can check out. And then here's some topics I'm going to cover in monthly new copywriting topic calls. So there'll be a lot more, but these are just to give you an idea. So these are some of the ones I'm going to do first. NLP triggers, talked a little bit about that today. I'll go much deeper on that. Open loops, really, really, really important. Mind-blowing hooks, the power of rhythm and copy. I talked a little bit about that today, and the power of three, but we'll go a lot deeper on that. And micro agreements. Micro agreements are super, super, super important psychological trigger. Going much deeper on psychological triggers than you've ever heard before. Now, I am not even going to mention on a public call what this is. This is something very innovative that I haven't heard anybody in the copywriting world talk about. Um, I can't even tell you what it's related to because I'm concerned somebody else will run with it. So that is definitely behind the paywall information that I'm not even going to mention what it is, but I can tell you it is a very, very deep psychological trigger stuff that I have figured out over the past few years that has been very powerful when I've used it in copy and has gotten great conversions. Um, how to structure your copy for higher conversions. And another thing I'll be doing with that is I'll cover in like how to use templates, how to use what I call comps, right? When I say comp, I mean finding a competitor's sales letter, right? And using it for structure. How do you do that without plagiarism? Because I have had some writers on my team that I did not give enough training to that, and they were just going and doing some plagiarism. I'm like, oh, no, 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 no. I have to give you more training on this. So you don't want to plagiarize ever, but you can use a competitor's doc for structure. So I'll go through exactly how to do that where you're not stealing their ideas. It's just using the structure. Um, why you must do quality assurance on your copy. If you don't do this, you're going to, at some point, you're going to deliver copy to a client. They're not going to implement it properly on the page. They're not going to make sure your bolding italics is all there. They're not going to make sure your line breaks are all there. It's not the client that's the person you're talking to. It's somebody on their team that might be being paid $5 an hour that's putting their copy into ClickFunnels or Go High Level or WordPress or wherever they're using, and they're not doing it right. And then the conversions the conversions aren't there where they should be. And you get blamed as a copywriter when it's not your fault. Well, it is your fault if you don't do quality assurance to make sure they don't implement it right. And I know very few copywriters that do that. I have my clients tell me all the time, Juliet, you are not like other copywriters. Well, that's because I'm not just a copywriter. I started off with a supplement company in 97, and by 2002 I had it doing 75K a month. So I started off as a e-commerce company owner, and I had to learn, I learned if you build it, they won't come, right? So I already had a background in marketing, but I had not done online marketing. Back then, the only people teaching were Mark Joyner and Corey Rudel. And Mark didn't even have anything paid you could get from him at that point. Corey Rudel had a cassette tape that I bought. But I subscribed to their list. I learned everything I could. In 2001, I joined Jonathan Meisel's Cyberwave Coaching Club. I went to an event in Atlanta where I met a lot of marketing gurus at a very small, intimate event. There was not nobody, it was a no pitch event. It was 50 people max there. And really made great connections with some people that were speakers in the marketing world there, the online marketing world. And Jonathan was one of those people. And so in Cyberwave Coaching Club, I was in there with Yannick Silver and Alex Mandozian and I'm drawing a blank, some other people's names, but these were really, really well-known speakers at the time. And I learned a ton about NLP and about psychological triggers in copy from them and different things with structuring copy on the page to increase conversion. So I used it for my own copy. I came back to a call and shared the numbers for my supplement offer I was doing. I was doing a long form sales page for a supplement offer. Nobody was doing that at that point. Nobody. And my conversions, when I shared them with them, I had like 6% conversions on the page. This is cold traffic, pay per click. They were blown away. I was selling coral calcium at the time. That's what I was doing. And so what happened? Jonathan Mizell got a team of people together and they started selling coral calcium. They weren't doing pay-per-clicks. They weren't directly competing with me, but they were doing spam. That's what they were doing. They had the spam operation. And I went to an event at I can't remember the name, the systems conference, I think, in Cleveland in 2003. And he brought me into this room and introduced me to everybody on his team running the operation. So I was just like, I'm number one, I'm not sharing business things I'm doing with marketers anymore because they steal what you're doing. That was a big thing for me. But yeah, that really was huge. And then in 2002, I went to Gary Halbert's, I forgot the name of the workshop. It was a 3-day workshop in Scottsdale, Arizona. And I actually yesterday on a call met somebody who she was actually at that event and she remembered me standing up and when Gary was like, oh, you can't make money online. So I'm just going to repeat this really quickly for people who were not on our last call that are watching the recording. So at that event, he was like, yeah, you can't make money online. And a bunch of people were like, yeah, you can, and he's like, okay, if you're making money online, stand up. And he's like, if you're making less than this amount, sit down. And people kept sitting down. He kept going up with the amount. He got up to, I think, $50,000. And at that point, there were me and 3 or 4 other people standing up, and that was it. And he said, okay, if you're making money online by selling people how to make money online, sit down. Everybody sat down but me. And he said, what are you doing? And I said, I'm selling supplements online, doing e-commerce. And he was blown away. So I was the person that actually taught Gary Halbert, you can make money online. That was pretty cool. And so, that's like kind of my training, my background. And for those of you who don't know me and haven't heard this, at one point I had 4 offers I had written in the spirituality niche on ClickBank in the top 10 all at the same time. I've had multiple times that I have had 6 in the top 20, or 8 in the top 30, that kind of thing. So I have really done well in that niche. And I kind of niche down in there over the past few years, but I've written copy in tons of different niches. I have an incredible intake doc. I will share that intake. That's not even on here. That's another bonus I'm going to include. And I think I might just include that for people who get Copy Coaching Club this week. I'm kind of thinking I'm going to have that as a bonus just for people who get Copy Coaching Club this week because it's pretty powerful. My intake doc is pretty amazing. And I have written copy from clients who filled out that intake doc in niches I knew nothing about. I did one sales letter for a FIFA gaming SaaS offer. I knew nothing about FIFA. I was not into gaming and I had not done anything in SaaS at that point. Nothing. But my intake doc is that powerful that it helped me write amazing copy for this client, knowing nothing about any of that. So yeah, that one bonus itself that you will get if you get Copy Coaching Club by Saturday, the 25th, I'll throw that in too. So but anyhow, I will have this. Okay, so he does have a sign up now. Let me see. Yeah, and he's got the different plans. So I have this link live now, but what I want to do is get it actually up on the domain, which I should have that done within and I've got discounts too. Like if you wanted to get quarterly, it's less, it saves money. If you want to get, semi-annual, annual, it also saves money too. And like I said before, if you end up wanting the offer I do with Devika next week, that's got her Build Your Fan Club course and her cash injection course for 444, I will credit you. Anything you spend this week, you will get credit toward that offer for that for sure. And if you get yeah, it can just go toward that offer, no problem. So anyhow, that let me stop sharing for a minute. I'll send over the sales page later. I'll post it in the group with the recording. Once it's actually up on the copycoachingclub.com domain. Um, and I'm really excited to be kicking this off. And if you are watching the replay, feel free to ask me any questions. And now I'm going to open it up for questions with the two wonderful people, Edward and Justin, that showed up on the call. See if you guys have any questions.
Yeah, I don't really have a question, but it is interesting because most of my copy is technical to see your thinking process for the emotional copy.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was thinking in my head, oh, let's see if they have a clinical study. Let's see if they have such and such. So I'm going to start testing a purely emotional against my purely rational, um, because a good test against that was sent there to those who didn't open the email or whatever, that particular product does have a clinical study.
Oh,
So
wow.
so it's actually been legitimately tested 2019. Um, but
I didn't know that. If
yeah,
I'd
but
known
the
that, I would have included that in the copy. Yeah, because I feel like you can mix the two up, Justin. Like you can
oh,
have
okay,
both. You can have the emotional triggers and put it's always good to put clinical studies. That gives people reassurance. It gives them this feeling of safety. And if especially if we're talking to women, right,
okay,
who resonate more with the emotional copy, then that gives them a feeling of safety, right? And women love this feeling of safety. So yeah, it's definitely, definitely. I didn't know that existed, right? So yes, definitely you can mix them together for sure all day long and
okay.
that
Now, would
creates a
you
good
mix it
sign.
in? Because that had a good, clean story up front. The visuals of, this just running around. I've actually written a more of a technical guide. It's kind of research for somebody who's writing copy on how to get better sleep. So that story was really relevant. So would you
Mhm.
put the technical after you've already sealed it with the story, and then that's just the extra PS to get them to the website, or do you blend it in and saying because the ancient technique of music and the emotion, I think you already had that in the copy.
Yeah.
How would you put the clinical reference in there? I don't want them to get distracted. They already got a good story. Click the link, go buy
Yeah,
the
I would
product,
let
you know.
me let me screen share for a minute. Hold on. Let's get back to this.
Because all that tossing and turning and you're looking for
Yeah,
relief, you've tried everything, it doesn't work. But this ancient technique,
this is where I would
here's
put
what it's
it.
done.
I
Okay.
would put it
Okay, so it's a bridge from ancient yet still works today.
yeah,
Okay.
and I would bold all that because that's really important. Yeah,
Okay.
that's how I would, and I would even knowing that, um, let's create a new subject line too.
Okay. Oh, and there, an email is going to have a subject line, but a preview text. And preview text can be like 120
That's
characters.
true.
So
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't understand the subject one, subject two, unless they are.
Oh,
Uh,
it's for testing, for split testing.
oh,
I
gotcha,
usually
gotcha,
I usually give my clients four subject lines to split test.
gotcha.
So this one, what we're going to do is we're going to keep that as a pre-header. You know what you're talking the preview text.
Yes,
Um,
yeah.
okay, and then for here, um, scientifically proven sleep hack ends insomnia. Um,
Yeah, see, I feel like that's
I
setting up
think since
for
we've already got the in,
reasoning.
yeah, since we've already got the ins berries insomnia here, um, hack, breakthrough instead of hack here, since we got hack down there.
Okay. And I've used a headline like this, but it was 1,000-year-old such and such, 1,000-year-old scientifically proven
Mm-hmm.
to tease the um it was the Socratic method. That's when they bought the product, they were learning how to use the Socratic method. But ultimately, the fact that it is both ancient and proven in the modern time seemed to work really well in that campaign.
There we go. That's what I would do.
Okay.
Um, that's a little long, so that's going to be cut off on
Yeah, that
phone.
might be in the pre or something.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I like sleep like a baby. Trying to think how I can kind of reword this to make it a little shorter.
Well, babies don't actually sleep throughout the
Yeah,
night.
that's true. Sleep like a rock. So with this is going to add too many words. That's even a little long.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sleep all night. That's a little shorter. I feel like it needs some work. Um, I'm not loving that the way it is. Uh,
And how do you keep Grammarly from like I have the
it
pro
drives me
version of
crazy.
yeah, because it always wants to take out the adjectives and the emotional language. I wanted to just tell me if it's at a fifth grade reading level because I have a problem
Yeah.
where I'm writing at like eighth and 12th grade reading level because I'm also a technical writer. So, but um, are there if you find a tool that will just make sure we've got readability because this
Yeah.
is new. Go ahead.
Hemingway, I think is good for
Okay,
reading level.
yeah, I use that too. But this is new to me, these very short sentences,
Mm-hmm.
because I tend to write long, maybe two or three tiny sentences on a line.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. It's more of like a psychological thing, you know?
mhm.
It gets him to keep scrolling, which gets him in a hypnotic state. So,
Okay.
and it also just creates this rhythm in the brain. You know, it's like my eyes burn, my body ache, tears stream down my face. You know, it's like I'm very big on rhythm because I'm
Okay.
a musician, I'm a songwriter, I play drums, I play percussion, I play bass, and I dance. Like all that, it's all rhythm
Yeah.
stuff. So it's like just part of who I am. But yeah, he's doing well with that. Like this is I was actually really impressed. You know, I feel like I definitely upgraded the copy, but he was starting from a really good place. Um, so yeah, I was impressed by that. Any other questions or comments or anything?
Hey, Juliet.
Hey, Edward.
Thank you for doing this. I don't do this at all, so I'm just interested. This has been really informative. I appreciate it,
Oh,
and
that's great.
I'll consider the club. Um, I did buy another course. It was pretty cheap, and
Hmm.
I think the guy's name is David Wimberly. Do
I
you
haven't heard of
familiar
him.
with that? Okay, it might be BS, but I haven't tried to go through the course yet. But um, anyway, also as far as what you were saying about the rhythm and the uh, efficacy of the short sentences,
Hmm.
I, I've been intuitively doing that in emails lately just because I get sick of reading emails that are where people just write out lines and they're all connected and
Yeah.
it looks like a boilerplate on a contract.
Yeah,
And so now when I do a work email, I do exactly the way that thing was structured.
that's
So I think
awesome.
I'm already set up to do that rhythm
That's great.
in writing. I
Sorry
think it
about that.
communicates to people better. So I understand that philosophy, and also the clinical study. I think I would call it a clinical study in the copy
That's a
instead of
good idea.
scientific. And and also, I really appreciate you attaching that study because I read through it, um, and it looks like it. I don't know what the psychological aspect of a potential customer going to the study would do. It might, but it does give. I guess it gives gravitas to the product, even if people don't know how to read statistics necessarily.
Clinically shorter too, which I like. Yeah,
Yeah.
clinically proven.
So anyway, yeah, this is interesting, and thank you for doing this.
Yeah, thank you for coming on. I appreciate it. Any questions you guys have?
Well, I guess the questions will be answered in the actual club membership. It looks like there you cover. It looks like it's pretty extensive in terms of um, sort of hand holding and which is what I would need at first, I think, because I've never
Hmm.
done this before. And uh, but a big question would be, finding clients,
Yeah,
which I'm
I'm
sure.
definitely going to cover that too. I think that was the
Right.
one thing I didn't. The last bullet I had on the sales page was related to clients. That's not the right. There we go. Go back here. Client communication tips, but there's also I should add on there about the tips for beginning copywriters has a little bit on that, but I that's something I'll definitely add. And one thing just overall, like these are some things I know I'm going to be covering. In addition to that, I want to cover what members want to learn, right? So if I have members saying, well, Juliet, yeah, we want to learn all this, but we want to learn how to get clients first, then I'll do a call on how to get clients first, right? I'm going to create topics, the monthly topics in the order that people want them, the things that people are most desiring to learn. Um, and I'll cover all this stuff eventually, but um I am committing to one new topic per month. There's a possibility I'll do more than one. I just don't want to overcommit because I have a lot of other things I'm doing too. But there is a possibility I'll do more than one new topic call per month. I just don't want to. I'd rather under promise and over deliver than over promise and not be able to deliver what I'm promising. So um, yeah, that's the way I'm structuring it. So but yeah, I definitely that's one thing I definitely will cover is how to get clients. And like I said, I mentioned that a little bit in the uh, the tips for beginning copywriters. Now that the tips for beginning copywriters video is actually inside the free membership in Copy Coaching Club on Facebook. So that's really the only one of these things that you guys already have access to without being a member. But I'll go far deeper on that inside the paid membership and on on how to get clients, how to work with them effectively. This client communication tips part is a really big part of it because it's not just about getting clients, it's also about retaining clients, right? It's way better to focus on retaining clients that you get so you're not having to constantly churn and burn and get new clients over and over because you're losing them. I have one huge communication tip. Don't ever ghost. You're running behind, reach out and tell them you're running behind. You're not going to meet the deadline. Tell them that as soon as you know that, because most clients have got a whole team of people and they have other people waiting on your copy. They've got their developer waiting. They've got their web designer waiting. They've got the person who's setting up the emails waiting. They've got, all those people that are waiting in the wings for you to finish on deadline. And if you know a week ahead of time, like, wow, I'm sick. Uh, I'm really sick right now and I can't do this and I'm not going to have it done on time. Let them know ahead of time so they can take their team and have them work on something else in the meantime. Um, I have had writers on my team that I have worked with that have been horrible, horrible about ghosting, and then I quit working with them because it's just like that communication's a huge pet peeve of mine. I am absolutely not going to keep someone on my team that sucks at communication. Everybody gets sick, everybody has emergencies happen in their family, and if you reach out to me, I am like the most compassionate person in the world. Obviously that's an exaggeration. Nobody can claim that, but I'm an incredibly compassionate person and understanding person, and I give people a ton of grace. But if somebody doesn't communicate with me and they ghost me, that's I can't do that. And you will lose clients so bad doing that. And I've had people I've collaborated with on projects and they were involved in the client communication and they did that and it made me lose the client. Like, so that is like a really hardcore important thing is to have really good communication. And that's one of the things that I've gotten from all my clients is how much they appreciate my communication. That's so I can go a lot deeper on that and different tips for that besides just running late. There's a lot more to it than that. So, um, but yeah, I'm really excited about this. I'm excited to get it going. And anything else before we go?
Where is the sign up for the club?
I'm gonna I'll send you a DM with that in a
Okay.
minute. I'm not sure if
Okay.
Perry has the URL live yet. Oh, he does. Awesome. Okay, let me pull that up right now. And I will DM that to y'all and I will post the replay in just a little bit as soon as it finishes processing. And I will put the link there to let's see, Slack.
All right, I'll catch you later. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, it's coming up, page not found. So he's got something is not right here. I'm gonna have to get with him on that. But yeah, Edward, I'll send you the URL once I get that straightened out from him. I'll send
Okay.
you a DM and I'll also post it with the replay inside the group. And yeah, I'll probably post the replay on my Facebook wall too.
Okay. Thank you very
All
much.
right, thank you. All right, bye.
See you.